This is the Great Basin prescribed fire and weather briefing for Monday, February 2nd. Looking at current conditions, we do have quite a few projects in hand. Purple circles across parts of Idaho, central Nevada, and parts of Utah. Also, small wildfire in central Utah through here, just an acre or so, and a recent one even up in parts of eastern Idaho. It's been very dry. You can see the precipitation over the past 2 weeks on the left. The light shade of blue is only a few hundredths of an inch, and most areas barely got that. Half the region didn't even get a drop or a flake during that time period. You see the percent of normal, 0 to less than 10%, covering a large portion of the area. Looking at our flash drought over the past 6 weeks, you can see much of the southern half of the geographic area is at a level 4 flash drought, which is the highest category you get in a short-term drought situation. And we'll be watching this as we go into the springtime, but definitely significant. Also, as is our snowpack. Most of the southern half of the geographic area is anywhere between 20 and 50% of normal snowpack, so well below normal. And areas further north in the Idaho mountains, slightly better, closer to 80%, maybe 90% in western Wyoming, but a lot of this is in the highest elevations. A lot of the middle elevations that normally have 6 to 12 inches of snow cover this time of year are bare, so be watching that carefully. The only area doing a little bit well is our southern Sierra region there. They're close to normal. They're basically one of the few. Our snow cover, just looking at the cover, even though it's not as deep, shows the picture that, a decent swath of near normal in parts of the mountains of western Wyoming, and at least 80% of normal in the central Idaho mountains, but elsewhere, very slim pickings. Looking at our latest fuels, and you can see that parts of southern and eastern Utah, the ERCs are well above not just normal levels. Normal is in this gray shade. These are the record dry levels, and our ERCs are way above that, closer to what we normally are by the end of April or early May. And we'll see this trend probably continue for a little while longer. And not only in the south, but even in the far southern areas, some of the higher terrain in southern Idaho, southern sawtooths, also seeing their current ERCs at record dry levels for this time of year. Upper level map shows high pressure over northern California just offshore. A lot of stagnation, a lot of clear sky. The main deep moisture atmospheric rivers and storm tracks being steered well off to our west and north. You can see the air quality or the ventilation dispersion index poorest in western areas closer to that high pressure ridge. Not so bad across parts of the Wasatch and parts of southern Nevada today. They're a bit further removed from this high pressure ridge. They still have some cooler northerly flow. Winds today coming out of the north, and every time we get north winds, we get some of that downslope coming in out of Cedar City into the St. George area, and sometimes out of the southern Nevada mountains into the Vegas area. You will see relative humidity, mid-teens to low 20s in the south, more like 30 to 50% minimum RH further north. Now, the transport winds show some of those winds today coming out of the north down into the St. George and Hurricane area could gust to over 25 or 30 miles per hour on the transport level side. That'll be interesting, and mixing heights pretty good overall vertically in southern and eastern areas. They definitely diminish as you head further north and west. Now for tomorrow, that high pressure slides in a little bit further inland. You see this area in red push further eastwards, covering parts of eastern Utah, all of Idaho, most of Nevada, except for the far south. As to both high pressure, light winds, humidity drying down into the low teens in southern areas. Again, 30 to 50% as you head further north. Mixing heights, again, maybe in the far eastern and southern areas, still maybe 2,000 to 4,000 feet above ground level. Otherwise, closer to below 2,000 feet above ground level, and even locally lower as you head further westwards. Light winds under that high pressure, but still breezy conditions, especially on the transport wind side in the far southern area, especially down towards the Vegas area. Not much change. High pressure still in control over the entire region, like a maybe just a recording playing over and over again like Groundhog Day. And again, poor air quality overall, except for far southern areas, because this time of year when the skies are clear, the heat builds from some of the rocky areas in the south. It tends to mix the air up just a little bit, but still some of those breezy winds also creating that downslope effect in parts of southern Nevada, far southwest Utah. That's also going to help a little bit in that dispersion. Same story with the relative humidity. You can see the transport winds, even stronger winds. These are more like noontime winds. In the morning till about noon is when you see the strongest winds, and some of them coming into St. George, Hurricane, and into Vegas area and off the Spring Mountains could be 20 to 30 miles per hour at times. Good overall vertical mixing in those southern areas. Day 1 to day 3 precipitation totals, basically nothing for the geographic area, nothing much for the west except for far northwest portions of Washington state. Looking for Thursday, the high pressure kind of builds all across much of the Rockies. On Thursday, we'll see a storm system well off the west coast and being kind of shunted away. Vertical mixing improves a bit for western areas. They get a bit more of this southerly transport flow. And then we start seeing a little bit of a change Friday. The high pressure ridge kind of buckles a little bit and loses its strength. We see a little low pressure area producing some cloud cover for the southern Sierra and southern Nevada. Also some better instabilities. That'll be the impetus for better smoke dispersion in our southern area. Still quite poor in the north under that high pressure dome. We see this push of moisture through here, and it starts approaching the coast a little bit on Saturday, and by Sunday the map kind of changes. We see deeper low pressure forming over the northern Baja regions, pulling in a lot of subtropical moisture. If this was summertime, it would look like a monsoon, but this is just subtropical moisture in a more wintertime scenario, so could start seeing precipitation, valley rains, and perhaps some high mountain snows pushing into New Mexico and starting to edge into southern Colorado and far southeast Utah. Not sure if we'll get precipitation yet, but this is the start of a pattern change that the models have been advertising, where this low kind of buckles the high pressure ridge, and some of these storm systems in the Pacific may finally have a chance to progress further inland. So we'll see, but days 4 and 5, no precipitation. Days 6 and 7, some precipitation in the far northern areas, maybe some significant valley rains and mountain snows up in the Payette area. And you start seeing that precipitation sliding into southern New Mexico, and we'll see beyond that, but this is the 7-day total, by the way. The 8 to 14 day does show much of our area going into the above normal precipitation probability. So there is a chance that there is a buckling of this blocking pattern that we've been in for about the past 2.5 months or so. Temperatures above normal, so it's not Arctic air, it's coming, it's more mild Pacific storm systems that could finally penetrate a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. This is for the second week of February, basically February 9th to the 15th. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day. We'll be back on Wednesday.